Well, we're here, Trevor. We've known each other a very long time at the Gordon Russell Museum, I'm sitting on an original Coventry Cathedral chair, and you're sitting on the new one.
On the new one.
I hope you're pleased with what we've done with it.
Absolutely thrilled. Well, I joined Gordon Russell in 1938 as a very junior of 14 years old. I was always interested in building, woodwork and making things. And back in my history, there was building and architecture within the family. So I studied architecture, which I believe is all part of households, buildings, structures and furniture.
And the connection between furniture and architecture is something that we've certainly spent our lives thinking about, but I get the impression that something that you would tune into.
Absolutely.
It seems to me the extraordinary thing about the Coventry Cathedral chair is its ability to work not just as an object in its own right, but collectively, so that the impact of the whole of a large number speaks to the architecture extremely well. It doesn't interfere. It lets the building do what the building needs to do and to express some of its liturgical function, but also its architectural function. And it seemed to me that Dick's genius in coming up with that design was getting that to feel very much part of its age, but also very much part of its architecture.
Yes.
Have you got any views on that?
Well, yes, because in my mind, I remember seeing them in Coventry Cathedral for the first time. I'd seen them together here in the factory being held together in banks and stacking, but to see them actually in the wonder of that cathedral, they were part of the whole. The very nature of its squareness in plan, and the very nature of its being stackable and being able to be connected, just opened it up as something that was very special.
But it did that particular thing of responding to the buildings.
Absolutely.
That was that architectural connection.
Yes, and the many pictures that I've seen of all this now only proves that it's a chair that is not just a chair, but it's architectural in its own right.
We've got the two chairs. We've got the original, or one of the original Coventry Cathedral chair and the latest production prototype. We've made a few refinements since, but what's your overall impression so far?
Well, I think the new one, to me, is striking.
And although we've changed it a little bit because of modern techniques, the principles that you were working on are as valid today as they were 55, 60 years ago.
Yes.
Which is fantastic. But I think one of the real tests on this has to be that there are so many of these chairs which are already 55 years old,
yes,
and they're still in perfectly good condition.
And the fact that it was a chair that was to be used in so many different ways.
Okay, one of the other things we've done on this, we leave, and you did it on the original chairs, is leaving these boards with a deliberate articulation of between each piece of timber, so that any changes in humidity between January and June would actually be accommodated, and turning that into a feature.
Yes.
And this is something which you did on the original chair.
That's right.
Because I think that when with Coventry, of course, it was centrally heated,
yes,
which was unusual for cathedrals because they're inherently damp.
Yeah.
But presumably somebody thought about all of that in that
Yes.
original, in the original design.
Yeah. That is why they are shown us, and they are individual boards.
But this is where the knowledge of the craft
Exactly.
and the knowledge of the
And the
technology
knowledge of wood.
and the knowledge of wood, yeah. The other thing that's a very striking detail, I think, is the way the finger joint works as a decorative detail,
Yeah.
apart from it being very strong.
That is the wonderful thing about it.
Yeah.
And I think that in times in other furniture that we've made, that has been used. And why not use what is structural to be
Yeah, to your
perfectly,
advantage.
yes,
Yeah.
and become artistic, because that is what it is. To me, that is one of the wonderful additions and the way of making. But what's it done? it's enhanced.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's an expression in one of the books, trouble about machines, you need to teach them manners.
Exactly.
But this chair seems to synthesise that architectural thing with the
It's
technical,
totality.
with all the craftsmanship and all of those techniques all wrapped up together.
Built into that chair was the stability and strength that is so lacking in so many other things which is made in wood.
When furniture gets old and beaten up, it looks chipped and
Yes.
rather awkward, but it seems to me that the choice of materials was brilliantly done, and the colour and all of those kinds of
Wonderful.